A slow Friday afternoon, it looks like. Might be time for another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. Today, our topic is more philosophical than technical. It has to do with hasty decisions. Much to everyone's chagrin, including my own, I've recently begun bike riding again, exercising for better health, as it were. But that's not easy for me because I'm a few years older now than when I last rode. But after a 3-year bike riding vacation, well, my doctors have a way of expressing it. Use it or lose it, to which they're referring to my life. So when something is explained so simplistically, it is hard to argue the merits. But you can always find 1,000 reasons why you can't ride right at the moment, and then you wind up putting it off until later, and then later, oh, it's just too late. So I've learned you have to be absolutely committed. I repeat, you have to be absolutely committed to getting that bike ride in. Change of scene 2 days earlier. As I was getting ready to make my afternoon ride, I happened to notice a few fragments of roof insulation batting laying on the ground. It got my attention for a moment, but this was bike riding time, so off I went. Well, the next afternoon, as I was preparing for my ride, I found a great deal of roof insulation batting laying on the ground. Well, wonder what that means. Of course, it's never good when you find part of your your roof insulation on the ground. And then I recalled that earlier when my neighbor had brought over some great soup he just had to share with us, he mentioned he had heard some strange sounds coming from the gutter area near the corner of my house. So here I am now, ready to go bike riding with my safety helmet locked on my head and pushing the bike out towards the road. So I stop, put the kickstand down, get out the ladder, and go take a look. Well, I have my helmet still on, and, well, it's birds. Spring birds, trying to find some neat place to make a nest. Now, I had just finished repairing a hole in the soffit on the other side of the house that raccoons had made in the roof that they had torn through, to which more spring birds had used to make a nest. I tried to be very careful to be sure they were all out when I sealed that hole up, but that was then, and this is now. I need to get on with my bike ride. I don't have time to play games with these troublemaking spring birds. I don't care if I ever hear a bird again, I said. There seems plans to whatever. And then I took a page from their playbook. It is Mother Nature's code, survival of the fittest. And I am the fittest, and I'm going to seal that hole and get on with my bike ride. But as I'm sealing up the hole, I thought I might have heard a small knocking sound coming from inside the sealed up area. But then maybe I didn't. Nah, I don't care. I'm getting out of here and I'm getting on with my ride. Survival of the fittest and all. Meanwhile, the next morning, I thought to myself, did I really hear, and did I really say, I don't care if I ever hear a bird again? But then what if I were the bird, sealed away in a tomb, where I couldn't hear a bird or anything? Could I have really heard something from within that hole after I'd sealed it up? Realizations came flooding in. Animals live by nature's survival of the fittest code, not man. Man lives to a higher code that involves rationalizing, reasoning, love, hate, and guilt, which were weighing heavily on my heart. I knew I did hear something. I knew there was a bird trapped inside that sealed-off tomb. And yes, what if I were he and he were I? Would he come back to save me? No, he wouldn't, because animals aren't equipped with guilt, but man is, and mine was pulling heavily. I realized the downside of making hasty decisions and coming to regret them later. The next thing I knew, well, I was out at that hole, that sealed-up hole, making tapping sounds on the wood below the sealed area, and I noticed there was a small hole underneath the area, and there just for a moment I thought I saw a movement. It was something large, but what? I made the hole bigger and tapped some more, and then I saw a beak, a head, and some body. The bird tried to make it through the hole, but it was too small. I said, "Go back, birdie, and I'll make the hole larger," to which he did, and I did. This went on for 3 times, and during this time I remember thinking, what a moment of trust. That bird knew I was trying to save him, and I knew I was trying to reverse a hasty decision. And I was hoping God knew there was still hope for the both of us. I've found the worst decision you can make is the one you regret. And it is a godsend if you have the time and opportunity to correct that decision. Well, a little far-fetched from the radio adventures in Radioland, but nonetheless a circumstance that I felt interesting enough to write about. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.